Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boardman Gets Paid podcast. I'm your host, Andre Lindo, and today I have a special guest. His name is Mike McCoy, top personal trainer in the GTA, giving you your acro, your salsa dancing training, everything. He has lifted a 350-pound grown man above his head with ease.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
but he has been a basketball Raptor fan for many, many years that I've known him. My dear cousin. Welcome, Mike McCoy.
Oh man, thank you for having me on your show. I am so excited to talk about the Raptors. I'm excited to be here, and we're gonna take over first take.
We got our resident Stephen A. Smith joining us here, but today we're gonna do a little bit of a debate because this has been going on far too long on the Raptor. Well, it's been a week. The should we tank or should we not tank? To tank or not to tank? That is but a question that needs an answer. And today we're going to kind of debate both sides. I'm a firm believer in not so much of a tank, not like what Philadelphia did, but more of like an ethical tank, like what I think we were doing for this year. But my friend or my cousin Mike McCoy believes other elsewise. Let's just start off. Okay, Raptors are what 6 and 15, 6 and 17. Let me just get that actual number. So we're gonna throw in show everyone what the standings are, and then hold on one second.
No
Yeah, so
worries,
the
man.
Raptors are 7 and 16. They've lost 16 games, won seven. But they went on a bit of a little bit of a 2 game win streak,
Yep.
and people are they're praising them. But then today they got hit with a little bit of reality juice, right in the punch in the face, and
hmm
got not only did they lose, they got demolished by the best team in basketball, and yeah, bringing some of the Raptor fans back to a little bit of reality of how good our team really is. So let's start, Mike. Why do you think the Raptors should kind of not tank and kind of go for playoffs?
Well, the thing is this:
Tell me.
we have not seen a Raptor team at full health.
hmm It's
Okay,
good. Good.
so
Call. Yeah.
the problem is right now we don't understand what a fully equipped Raptor team actually looks like.
hmm
There's too many injuries to define that. And one of them is getting paid a lot of money, and he's our running point guard. We
hmm
got Grady Dick, who is the most improved player in the NBA today,
Okay. All right.
coming out into his coming out party. We
Mm-hmm.
got so many players, so many pieces that are doing great things, but we haven't seen the whole puzzle together. I
Okay.
I totally agree that sometimes the jumping in the tanking pool looks incredible. Like the draft picks and everything looks so good. But I wonder what would happen. I ponder. I put this out there to you right now. If
Please let
the
me ponder.
Raptors did not lose four of those close games, would the
Mm.
standings be different? My argument today resides around how terrible the Eastern Conference is.
Okay.
This
Now
is the
we're talking.
thing. This is the thing.
Okay, let's look at the East. Okay, let's go.
If the
Tell me.
Raptors were what place are we right now?
We
We are
are third last.
okay, so technically
Fourth last.
we are 2 games out of the 10th spot.
hmm
Okay?
hmm
2 games. Why not make a playing game
hmm
and still have a chance at a lottery pick?
hmm
Why not? Why sit down and try to tank the whole season when we don't even know what the entire team looks like?
hmm
The
So,
problem is,
okay,
go ahead,
continue.
sorry.
Yeah, no, continue. I would like to hear it.
The
I want to
problem
hear you.
is Emmanuel quickly is not here.
Okay.
We need to see what Emmanuel quickly, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes all look like together as a unit. We all know RJ Barrett, minus his turnovers, is playing at an all-star level.
Oh,
Okay?
it's a good
Because
thing
I
you
know certain
said
people
that
are gonna
one.
bring up certain people's turnovers on the thing. Jakob Pertl is having the best career year as a center he's ever played. Even though certain people on this podcast don't like certain people, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Darko is showing you that as a development coach, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's
Okay.
growing these players into the players they are.
Hmm.
Okay, and we're seeing certain people rise up in their 3 point shots that we didn't even want to be part of this team. We wanted them traded.
Hmm.
Why? Because Darko is developing. Okay,
Okay.
and we have to see our entire team together before we decide to jump in the tank and blow it all up.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for that beautiful monologue. That is my cousin, Mike McCoy.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a few points that you said there. Emmanuel. Oh, let's start off this way. All right. In order for a team to make the playoffs, just the playoffs, only anomaly last year was the Pacers. You have to be a top 15 defense. You have to have top 15 defense. What do you think the Raptors defense is right now?
Raptors, well, without everybody in the lineup, it's probably not that good.
Mhm. Like who is not who that is not that is injured right now would in, make our defense better?
Emmanuel quickly is really good.
No, he's a very
No,
bad
it's
defender.
okay. Okay. No, he's not a bad defender. He's a pass lane defender. He's kind of like Allen Iverson. He picks in the passing lane, but he's
Okay,
quick. But the
and
problem is the offense and the
okay,
defense. So I feel like our offense increases with him on the floor.
okay.
That's the thing. So our
But we're
offense
talking
also has
about
to.
defense right now. So in order for us
Yeah.
to be in a top 15 defense, we would have to have especially two of our main players or starting lineup players, RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly are like pylons when it comes to defense.
Yep. And
They
then
cannot defend.
we have the
So
number one defensive perimeter player in the league right now,
who's that?
coming off of the bench.
Who's that?
Come on.
No,
Do I
I'd
have
like
to
to know
say
who's
his
that.
name? Do
Yeah,
you
say
want
his
me to
name,
say
please.
his name?
Yeah.
Do you want me to say his name? Mr. Off Night. Okay? Mr. Off Night. Mr. Mitchell.
we're gonna get to
Mr.
Mitchell
Off
in a second.
Night.
We got to be careful with Mitchell because he will block you if you say anything bad about him. But
What?
right, so we got off night. Tell me who what other? So we got Mitchell. We have
Scotty
OG,
Barnes.
Scotty Barnes,
Jakob Pertl,
Ochai.
one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. Yeah,
Okay,
top three offensive rebound.
but not
Last
a
week he
top
was leading it,
defensive.
but
We're
we
talking
have
about defense, bro.
okay.
Defense.
So we got Mitchell. Okay,
Mhm, mhm.
Scotty Barnes is an amazing on-ball defender.
Okay.
Okay, we just need Pirtle to keep doing what he's doing because he changes shots. I know you're not a huge Pirtle guy, but Pirtle changes so many shots in the middle. The problem is sometimes Ochai Abachi is such a good defender, but he's always guarding the best player. But his on-ball defense is also really good. The
Mhm,
problem is when you face somebody like Jason Tatum one-on-one, it's
mhm,
Jason Tatum. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things. So if our defense, if you put Mitchell,
mhm,
Abachi, Barnes, Pirtle,
mhm.
that is a strong defensive lineup. But I'm curious to see what because even Grady got better with his defense. Have you noticed that?
I
His
have.
lateral
So
ball,
let,
his
so
lateral
let's
movement.
let's look at
Is,
defense right now. Raptors are
yeah,
22nd in defensive rating. They were
yeah,
actually last up until they started to get some of their players back. Yet,
yeah,
and so they've kind of increased, right?
yeah,
Right here from I think from last was like and moved up, but that's still nowhere close to the where Detroit Pistons are at 15, and it kind of shows in our playoff standings. Being one of the worst teams in the league. So, in order for that to happen, and the
yeah.
players that are injured right now
Yep.
that are going to come back to the lineup are
Yep.
actually worse defenders than the defenders we have now that are
Can I
playing, and those are rookies.
let me beg to differ.
Okay, go ahead.
When the rookies who are currently starting or come off the bench or whatever they start in the game,
Mhm.
we have no backup, right? So if those same defenders move to the bench and our starters come back in, we're gonna have more defense. And I feel like we're gonna have more opportunities to create zone defense with quicker players on the court. When Emmanuel quickly comes back,
Would
Scotty
you
Barnes,
start? Would you start Emmanuel quickly if he comes back?
100%. Why not?
So if we start, I'm gonna bring the roster. If we start Emmanuel quickly,
Yeah.
right, we are going to lose out on defense. Like our starting lineup will be worse defensively.
How?
Well, because Emmanuel quickly is very bad at the point of attack defense, right? And he's going to be our main ball handler and distributor. He You cannot have him like actually the lineup that we have now with Ochai,
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes. That's a better defensive lineup than to have Emmanuel quickly start. The problem is though we paid him $32 million a year, so he has to kind of start right. But
Yeah.
if we have him now in the lineup, our defense rating will kind of go lower.
He's really good at steals though. Even last year,
Playing
he
the
was
passing
really good at
lanes,
steals.
playing the passing lanes is not like a huge stat when it comes to defending. Like if you think of off night, he doesn't play the passing lanes. He plays people up front. That's why people
Yeah.
get offline. So now we're talking about two major defense, actually three major defensive liabilities in the starting lineup because you most likely would put Ochai off the bench on the bench, right? Because when you put in the starting lineup, you're gonna probably have Grady in there because of shooting. You need Grady.
Yeah.
You have Scotty. You have Emmanuel quickly. So defensive liability. Grady is coming to his own, but he's still a defensive liability right now.
Oh, I don't know about
NBA.
He's not a liability anymore. No, he's doing actually a good job on
he
defense.
he is not he's not an average defender yet. He's getting there.
He's
Then
not
you
a
have
terrible defender.
he's better than RJ though. That's the thing. So
Art,
RJ's
yeah,
there, and then you have Jakob, right?
yeah,
So we already starting to become defensive like worse. So right now we're not getting better with Emmanuel quickly off defensively. With Bruce Brown, you could probably say that, but Bruce Brown defensively, eh. Last year he
no,
wasn't that great.
but
He
he had
wasn't
an
that great.
injury. So I'm actually curious. This is what I'm saying. Like, I
Mhm.
want to see a healthy Bruce Brown because is he going to go back to Denver form? We never really talked about that before.
So
We never talked
it's
about
interesting
Denver
you
Bruce
say that.
Brown.
Denver Bruce Brown was good because he had good players around him and he played a role.
Yes,
We
yeah,
do not have the same players as Denver.
no, we're just missing Jokic.
That's big hole to be missing, bro. What are you saying right now? Okay. So another thing too that we can also talk about is that the development of um
Yes.
Mobo, Jacoby Walter
Yep.
and where's my boy Battle
Yep.
and the other rookie Shed.
Chet.
That would actually
Yes.
go down because now we have these veterans playing heavy minutes and their development would actually be kind of stunted. So
I
there's the
don't think
trade off.
I don't think their development will be stunted. I think Darko's really good at plugging players where necessary to create development. Like he did with Grady. He went from making a mistake with Grady last year to
Well,
plugging
thank you
Grady
for
where
saying that, brother.
he he plugged. Yeah, he made a mistake last year, but
Mhm,
he knew to make the adjustments, just like
mhm,
he did with Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher did not belong on the left side corner of the bench collecting dust.
mhm.
Right now, he put him in a position that where he's not only just getting minutes, but he can produce and play a role.
That's
Same
another
with
player.
Ochai
That's another
Abachi.
player that we have defensively that is a liability when it comes to wing defense, especially when he plays as like he's almost like He reminds me of my man from New York that got traded. He's like a black hole. The only time he passes the ball is if he's like covered, and sometimes he doesn't even pass the ball. Then he's shooting. So we talked about the defense, right? Being a like our team wouldn't be have a better defense anyways.
Okay.
So we like that's another issue, right? So now,
Mhm.
okay, offensively, now what are you thinking with the team if we had our veterans? Do you think our team would be better offensively?
Oh, 1,000%.
Hmm.
Because now you're not focused all your defense. Yo, when Scotty was injured, RJ
Hmm.
Barrett got all the defense placed on him in the fourth quarter. They let him go
Hmm.
off in the first 3 quarters. The pressure that the defense on the other side placed in double teams
Hmm.
and clogging the lanes on him was massive.
Yeah.
Now, when you have quickly on the court, Barnes on the court, and RJ in the court, no one's getting double teamed. Because
Hmm.
if you double team someone, unless there's Jakob Pertl there, but even with Jakob Pertl putting up Shaq like numbers over the past minus the last 3 games before that, putting up Shaq like numbers for
Shaq
that
like, oh,
Shaq
interesting.
like numbers when he was scoring those jump hooks in the center, like
Uh,
nonstop. He was unguardable. When you play it like that, man, with all of our entire team there,
mhm.
we're gonna be a problem.
Yeah, he was.
Emmanuel quickly is so quick. Oh,
Okay. Let's look at some of the wins that we had. Right.
yep,
Okay. So first win was against Philly, a depleted will Philly team.
yep. With a
Right.
depleted Raptor team, correct?
No, this was full, except for Emmanuel quickly.
Yeah, that's depleted.
Okay. We they didn't have the MVP and Paul George, and
Yep,
we didn't have Emmanuel quickly. Okay, cool. So then we lost four straight, and then we beat Sacramento on Vince Carter night. That was a great night, really good close game.
yep.
But then we ended up losing again to them the next game.
Hmm.
Um, what do you think of Sacramento? So right now, Sacramento is about they're pretty close to the bottom of the league now.
Yep.
Okay.
Like I've been telling people before, DeMar DeRozan is a black hole. I love DeMar and what
Mhm.
he did for the Raptors franchise. I
Yeah.
appreciate him, but we traded him and won a championship with the
Yeah.
best player to ever put on a Raptor jersey,
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard. And
Okay. Well, like we said, they lost. They beat. They beat. They beat Sacramento. They're 10th in the West now. They've been struggling. They
yep,
struggle. We beat Indiana, who's
yep.
struggling like crazy right now because they
Well,
can't play
they had
local
all their
defense.
players. They're
Yeah, but
healthy.
they cannot play defense. They
Hmm.
cannot. Okay.
Yep.
And any good offensive team, like you said, don't worry, that's me, Mike. That's me.
Okay, no worries.
Yes, it does it sometimes. Yeah, so any
Mhm.
good defense off like any team that has somewhat good offense will beat a team that has bad defense. Now,
Yep.
this is where we get a quality win, and that's the Minnesota win. That was a very quality win.
Very
I would
quality
say
win.
I would say that was
With
a
the
quality.
depleted Raptor team, would you say we were depleted that game?
No, no, didn't I don't think Scotty back that game? Yeah, but that's when Scotty got back.
Okay.
Scotty got back that game, and they had a quality win against. And that was the hold on, was that the game? Let me make sure that's the game that Jakob Pertl did amazing, right? Let me see. Um, let's see that Jakob Pertl. Let's look at this. Oh, 5 for 8,
That's not
12
bad.
point, 12 rebounds. Oh, okay.
12 rebounds is really good. That's what
15
we
points.
needed.
You remember the Shaq like numbers you were talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
There's a
all right.
little,
Oh, I
little.
get. Wonder what was going on. Was he playing against a real center? Oh, okay, let's go back to this. Right, that was a quality window. I have to say that was a quality one.
Yeah,
Right, and
absolutely.
let's see the other one that we had. If this thing will cooperate, Miami. So Miami beating Miami,
Quality win.
struggling
Quality
team,
win.
no
Yeah.
center, and then Indiana
Sorry,
again.
Bam. Sorry, Bam. Who? Bam
Bam
Bio.
is a 4. He's not a center.
Yeah, he's
Nice try.
technically a center. He
Okay.
is technically a center.
Wait, let's see how did Jakob Pertl have a
Yo, this
20
guy.
20 and 20 game against Bam Adebayo? Let's just see.
Bam's a great defender.
Oh, hold on. Is that 17 points, 11 rebounds? Okay. Shaq like.
Jakob per- Jakob Pertl is
No
getting
center.
double.
No
Hey,
center though.
he's getting double doubles. That's what our team needs from him.
Yeah.
To
And
chip.
this is a team that's struggling 99 right now in the East. So the only quality win that we kind of had was against Minnesota. So of the 7 wins, the quality win we got was one quality win. The rest
Yep,
weren't. So Indiana, struggling team. The rest of them, Philadelphia was a struggling team. The Sacramento Kings, they're struggling as well. So all
yeah,
the kind of the wins that we have against struggle, like New Orleans, like we didn't even talk about that. New Orleans has literally 3 wins.
yeah,
Has no. They're playing a G League team.
yeah.
So we, when you say quality wins, where like where could we have won games where we would be, with the same defense, like sorry, same or
Yep.
worse defense now?
Yep.
How would we get those wins?
So the thing is this, you took one side of the coin. Let's talk
Mhm.
about quality losses.
Oh, okay.
Denver.
Let's see. Well,
Denver was a quality loss. We lost by one possession. RJ's shot went in and out.
mhm.
Sometimes stuff happens.
What
We
was
talked
going on
about
with Denver at that
Boston.
time?
What do you mean?
Well, Denver was injured.
No, they weren't. Yo, yeah, everybody was playing.
They were injured, and they were what's the call? They were struggling. They were like they were really not good those that first 2 weeks. They were
It was a
struggling.
it was a quality loss against a former NBA champion. Talk
Quality
about
loss.
NBA champions. We played the Boston Celtics. And if it
Mhm.
wasn't for the ref not teething us at the end of the game, we would have beat the former NBA champions of last year. That's
Okay.
another
So
quality loss.
so do you think then with an Emmanuel quickly and was Scotty Barnes playing that game? I don't think he played that game. Do you think with an
Uh,
Emmanuel quickly and Scotty Barnes that they would be better defensively because they did give up 126 points.
They did give up 126 points, but
Mhm,
the thing is, when you have the answer on offense to answer back offensively,
mhm.
there's a higher probability of you winning a game like that when it's a one possession game and RJ Barrett is not shooting your game winning shot. I'm
Well, and
sorry.
that's
He took
that's
two game
so
winners.
so
Okay.
yeah, okay, and that's cool. So we talked about that, and we say, okay, well, we could have been in playoff contention. So let's just say if we went back to the standings, we instead of say we had five. You think it was about five or so quality losses that could have been wins, right?
Probably
So
around there.
maybe so let's just say we got 3 extra wins,
Yeah.
right? The
Or four.
Raptors, okay, we can do four, but the Raptors would be then 11 and 11, or
Yeah.
11 and 12.
What place would there be in this when they be in the standings if that
11 and 12,
happens?
there would be seven.
Perfect.
Seven. Okay. So knowing that this team say they would be seventh in the East and they're fighting for the playing spot, right?
Mhm.
Do you feel that the team would be better suited um, in the playoffs than getting a better draft pick?
I think, like I mentioned at the very beginning, you can get a playing spot
Mhm.
and battle it out for a playing spot.
So
For
in that seventh position,
and your winner. Oh, sorry.
and the seventh position, you're not getting a lottery pick. So now
Exactly.
now we're
I want a
getting the
10 spot.
middle. Oh, okay. So you want to be 10th to get a
Yeah.
play in, right?
Play in, it
So
gives you a chance to get to the playoffs and get a good draft pick.
okay.
That's my sweet spot for the
So you're
Raptors.
you're you're gunning for whatever the Hawks kind of did last year when they got the
Yeah.
first overall pick.
Yep.
So you do you know what the percentage of being able to get the first pick from that high is? It's like
The, o- the
2%.
The only thing with percentages like that is you just never know. And what's most important is the team's morale going forward.
Mm.
If the team's
We're
morale increases because they made a play in tournament when everybody has written them off, the level of confidence they're going to come into next season,
Mhm.
plus possibly get a draft pick in higher up, is I would take that over completely tanking, crashing everybody's morale, and ruining team chemistry.
Mm, yeah. Interesting because next year, so this is where you're talking about, right? So you think that this team, especially if they weren't injured, would be in the seventh position. Do you think that'd be a good position next year for them?
No,
But that was technically your ceiling for them, seventh.
no. If Cooper Flags joins the Raptors,
No, no, no.
I
Hold
want to
on.
be
No, no. We're saying
first.
we're talking about the team now, right? We're talking about the team
Okay.
right now. So you're saying
Oh,
seventh. Now the
yeah.
team right now for probably next 2 years would probably be seventh again, right? And we're not getting better. We're just
This is the
the
thing.
same.
That's just analyzing what you're currently seeing. We have to see this team play all together.
Mhm.
And that's my debate is we have to see what they look like as a well-oiled machine together before we can make an accusation of what's going to happen in the
Okay.
future. We just
So
don't know.
let me get into my side because I think we hear that's a good argument that you do need to see what you have and not base it on prior examples of what we've had seen in the past. They haven't
Yep.
got any chemistry yet. Yes, so that's an understanding. That's cool. In my mind though, in my mind,
Uh-huh.
the best way to get a a, quality player, quality, is through the draft without spending anything. Right?
Yeah.
Right now, we are actually over the cap, and we suck. We are at 164 million. The cap is 140. We're over the cap, and we are not good. That's one. So if we wanted to go out there and try to sign a player next year, we can't. So that we can't get better that way, right? There's internal growth. That's fine. But we're going to be losing a few of our veterans next year, and we can't really sign them back if we want to be flexible, right? So we're going to lose Bruce Brown. We're going to lose. Hold on, let me just pull it up. Um, let's talk about the players that we're going to lose,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, if we keep on the plan of like, hey, let's just play and play out these veterans and see how they go, that now deters or stunts the growth of our four or five rookies that we've brought in, and those players have really turned heads. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so they wouldn't turn heads if the veterans were available to play, right? And it's like we're trying to get better, and we talk about internal growth, and the only way to get better is to play these players. All right,
Yep.
so we're going to be losing out on Chris Boucher is going to be gone. That's one. Another, we have a team option on a qualifying offer to Davion Mitchell, so we can keep him or not. So it doesn't matter. We're going to lose out on who is that? Chris Boucher, Garrett Temple's gone, Bruno Fernando's gone, Jameson Battle we can always bring back. I think the other player was Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown's gone.
Yep.
So now we've kind of taken away from that that set, right? And the only way to kind of get better is through the draft, like to get
And
a better player.
and trades.
Yeah. Well, trades is a little hard because right now we have this thing called the second apron, or it's the new concept that's going on with the collective bargaining agreement, and players like Bruce Brown and Jakob Pertl are very hard to trade because certain teams that would want a player like that cannot spend the money, or they have to trade the exact salary match in order for them to get the player. So if we
Yeah.
trade Bruce Brown, who are we really gonna who's gonna give up a better player than Bruce Brown to get him from us, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Jakob Pertl and stuff like that. So it's actually really difficult to move those players. So when we think about the way that we can get players, the best way is through the draft.
Yep.
Now, the more that you lose, and this is the way the draft works, the more that you lose, you have more of a chance, or a chance to get a top 1 to 2, 3 pick, the more that you lose, right? And when
Hmm.
we look at the season right now, and especially how it is going right now, so the Raptors
Hmm.
have lost. They are let's see here. They've lost 16 games.
Yep.
This is an 82 game season. And if
Yep.
we're projected to win about 20 to 25 games, that could put us into maybe a seventh or eighth seed, or seventh or eighth in the lottery. Now, imagine we say we win 20 games and bring
Hmm.
ourselves down. The percentage of us getting the first to fourth pick goes like way higher. And I think even if we drop to the fourth, I think the lowest we can get is the fourth pick.
Yeah.
Now, the quality of player in the top 10, at least the top 10 in this draft, is has been way above the quality of players in most recent drafts that we've seen. It's been touted as one of the best drafts ever. Now, if we are not going to win the championship, if we're not going to even even sniff the playoffs, because these teams are going to get better. They like with the teams we were looking at, like Philadelphia is going to get better. All these different teams are going to get better. Why not take the opportunity, right, to kind of, even though you are going to lose, but to move players that may make our team a little bit better and get more flexible.
Yep.
When I say financially, first of all, because crap teams shouldn't be way over the salary cap, but get more flexible with when it comes to the cap, right? To get ourselves in position to get good players and to develop the young players that are going to come in, especially a player like a Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey. When you look at Ace Bailey, Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, the kid from BYU, these
Yep.
guys are already better than some of the players on our team. And then
Hmm.
the 2026 draft, no one's even talking about. There's even better, are just as good players in that draft than there is in this one, and it's really cool that we have Pacers first round pick, not even I don't think it's protected. So now if we lose and they lose, we get even better players.
Yep.
Now, one of the major problems with mid market teams is free agents don't come to us. They just
Yep.
don't. We don't. What was the best signing we had? Dennis Schroeder. It's our best free
That was
agent.
one of the best. Yep. Yep.
Great. And look how that panned out for us. But in order to develop, in order to kind of be a better team, is that we got to do it through the draft. And the best way to do it through the draft is to be bad. Now, teams that have done that in the past. Now, let's see. We look at Denver was really bad, and people are like, no, they weren't really bad. No, they were bad. They
Yeah.
drafted two of their players in the lottery, which is Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., and they had to move players and Jokic obviously was like a really, um,
Yep.
uh, so they have players like that. We have OKC. If you look at OKC, look at that team now we just played. They traded for Shea, but the way that they got their players and the assets that they have is that they saw the writing on the wall for the main players, like for instance, if we just thought about like Pascal, if they had Pascal, they would have got 3 first round picks for him. Right.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, we didn't. Right. But they took the players that could get them the most assets and leverage that for the best offer. And now it's kind of coming to fruition because they draft really well, because they do really
Hmm.
good scouting, and
Hmm.
now they have a really good team, and they're all on rookie contracts except
Yep.
one or two players,
Yeah.
right? So now, like I think actually in this is I think this is the year that they should like go all in and get a player. But now they have the flexibility to do that
Yep.
because they have these young players that all the teams want,
Yeah.
and they have the salary cap to take it in.
Yeah.
So when we look at and then there's the Magic. The Orlando Magic are doing wonders. They've been drafting so well. They got the first round pick with Paolo. They got Franz Wagner, I think it was a fourth
Mhm.
pick. They got Jaden Suggs, which was the fifth pick in the draft. These guys are young, talented players, and then they had other draft picks that they fit around them, and now
Yep.
they're ready to start putting vets.
Yep.
Now, there are many ways to skin a cat. Okay, but we are not the Lakers, and we're not New York, where we can get big free agent signings or players wanting to come here.
Yep.
But in order for us to kind of like get to that point of where we can do what we did with getting a Kawhi, is that we need to develop. and get young, strong players to come to the Raptors. And the best way to do that is through the draft.
Yep.
And we're going to be squandering an opportunity just um, for what, just the fulfillment of playing in a play-in. Like why waste an opportunity like this? And I think if you ever see what these other teams are doing, they're seeing the writing on the wall.
Yep.
Charlotte, they started off really hot, and then they saw the writing on the wall, and you know, they're kind of slowing down. The same with Utah. Utah, I couldn't believe this. Utah coach basically called a timeout as the guy was running in for the
Yep.
game winner.
Yep.
So when it's great what you're talking about for the fans and for the things, but when we're thinking about long term of how to build a winner, how how could we sit there and try to be the Bulls where they're like always trying to make playoffs and play in and getting the draft those really odd draft picks. The best they did was I think a fifth round draft pick with
Yep.
Kobe White, and constantly be the mid instead
Yep.
of getting worse while developing players. So I think the Raptors are doing it correct. They are developing. They have five rookies that they are developing throughout this year with real live games. Right?
Yep.
These guys are
Yep.
really good. Do we have good veterans? Well, kind of good veterans
Yep.
that are helping them learn how to play in this NBA. And
Yep.
yes, and I feel like a few wins here and there will work, but at the same time, right? You have to develop these players because next year, when you get like a Cooper Flag or say a Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey, now they're surrounded by five not veterans, but
Yep.
second year players that are
Yep.
hungry and ready to win, right?
Yep.
It's with Scotty Barnes as their kind of leader in a
Yep.
sense. And then you're going to have, Grady Dick. He's now third year player. He's starting to be that vet that can shoot. Now we got some other players. Now, the other question is now, do you really want to keep a vet like Pirtle or Bruce Brown or even Ochai? Because
Yep.
Ochai, like you said, I'm not gonna deny it, man. The coach did a great job with him. But are you going to sit there? Yes, you can smile all you want, but are you going to sit there and say we need to keep Ochai when someone's dangling a first round pick for him?
Question for you.
Mhm.
Where did Detroit draft last year?
Oh my God! Don't bring. Okay, they drafted fifth. Mhm.
Detroit drafted fifth.
Do you trust
So
Masai?
I trust Masai
Okay,
with
did
everything.
did Detroit have Masai? They drafted first, fifth, 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 fifth. They have good
Yep.
draft picks, but they didn't
Amazing.
do.
Yep.
They didn't do. The management didn't do well. They didn't have a plan,
Yep. I
right?
agree.
So you
But
can say that. You can say
you
that, but that's Detroit's only one terrible idea. You know,
so the thing is this. I love your points. You are savvy with everything you said. Your
thank you.
information is so
You
correct.
know, you know.
The problem is your points are based off of probability of picking. And
Hmm.
in this game of pickings, if we finish terrible, we're not guaranteed anything.
We're
You just
guaranteed
don't
at least a
know.
fourth pick if we're really terrible, and
But
a
Detroit
fourth,
was the worst team in the NBA last year, and they got
and
fifth pick.
they got fifth. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they weren't the worst. The worst was Washington.
Oh yeah, Washington caught up at the end of the
If we
season.
got the fifth pick, that's Dylan Harper.
That's maybe Dylan Harper if he's still there. He might go three, to
I
be
think he might
honest.
even go one because
No, no,
he's
no, 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 no,
ridiculous,
no. Stop it. Cooper Flag is going one. The whole
bro.
Nate, he fooded everybody. Anyways, sorry, going
Yeah,
back to your point.
please go.
You had some
Please go.
very good points,
Mhm.
but it's based on probability. Then you threw out a situation where um OKC fleeced the Clippers, fleeced them,
Hey,
and took their. I've never. They talked about that's the most first round draft picks ever swiped from a team for Paul George.
my okay. How many years was left on Paul George's contract?
I don't remember that
It was like
exact
2 years.
number.
So this is another thing that we had problems with the management. They should have traded Pascal and Fred for the draft picks that we need.
Yeah, but we
That's
didn't
the
know at the time
Yes, we
because
did. We
of
knew.
championships. We didn't
No, we
know.
knew. We knew. We saw it on the writing on the wall that he couldn't. Those two could not produce. They needed to trade them, and instead we hung on to him to get. What did we get for Pascal, bro? Mm-mm, I'm sorry. And the Pirtle trade, that's even worse.
Yeah,
We
but
got we
we
got
got
Pirtle.
quickly. We got quickly for OG.
That
Quickly
was a great
and
trade.
RJ.
That's a
That's
great trade. But the
that
Pirtle trade is killed us. We could have had a really good backup point guard in last year's draft. Instead, we traded him away for Pirtle because we
Hurdle's what
wanted
we
to
need
keep.
right now as a center though. We
Yeah,
need him.
I think so. I think the problem was Koloko getting that freak injury, or else Koloko would have been our
Yeah.
center.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
that really pivoted everything to be
yeah,
honest.
and
Because
I
he was
think yeah, and I think what we have to understand is that these things are all chance. Like we could go to the playoffs and Scotty can blow out his knee, and now
yeah.
we're now
Yeah.
we're we go to the playoffs, he blows out his knee, and guess what? We get the 14th pick in this draft,
Yeah.
and now
No, it's
we're
true.
even worse. So
Yeah.
like the what ifs and stuff like that, but I'm thinking about probability and like the numbers here when we're thinking about this, that it is better off to try to get that smaller pick, even if it is the fifth or fourth pick, that we would be better off with that blue chip because
Yeah.
there's Cooper, and then there's a little bit of a fall off with Ace and Dylan, and then there's a little bit of fall off with Damon, and there's a guy named Molochik, there's a guy named Dink Pate, there's a guy named Trey
Yeah.
Jones, and these guards are really
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we have to come to the possibility that there are going to be some desperate teams out there, and we need to be able to take advantage of those desperate teams and get something for our vets.
Yep, and I totally agree with certain aspects of your stuff, but again,
Mm,
it's probability. You just now listed four teams possibly going into tanking that are
mhm.
already currently tanking.
Yeah.
So that decreases our probability by even more of finishing bottom four.
But
So
that's
we
the
would
same
have to
thing we're
like,
talking about, though. Like it's like, okay, yes, they're tanking, but we could still get the first pick, right? We could still get the first. We can still get the third, fourth. That's what we need.
but
You know,
probability wise, if those teams finish lower, they get more balls in the lottery bucket,
hmm
and that
like
puts us.
we're not gonna catch Washington and Utah, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. That's fine with me. Let's go to the NBA draft.net.
I don't think I don't think we'll even catch Philadelphia
No,
and
because
New
Philadelphia,
Orleans.
bro, Philadelphia is gonna come back.
I don't think so. They're gonna trade Joel Embiid. There's too much problems over there right
No,
now.
they're not trading Joel Embiid. He's the MVP. I
Jokic.
think they want to,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think Jokic was the MVP last year as well. But like, look at this. Look at the. This is if we look at these teams, these players. This guy's a 6'9" point guard. Okay, he cannot miss. He's a disgusting shooter. And we got Ace Bailey. Everyone knows about him. We got Dylan Harper. This guy, I think he's going to be the one right there. I don't know too much about Nolan or Boogie Flan, VJ Edgecombe. That
Yeah.
Let me tell you about him. He's Caribbean. He's from the
Mhm.
Bahamas. Canada would go crazy.
Yeah.
First, Asa Noel is actually really good power forward. Like all these Dink Pate, this guy already played in the G League. He plays in the G League right now.
Mhm.
He's doing
Mhm.
very well. Like all these guys, even JT Toppin's a pretty good player. So
Yeah.
when we say these top, like especially in this range, the 1 to 7 range, that's where we
Yeah.
need to be. That's where we need to be.
Yeah.
And right now, what I'm hearing is that Toronto has scouts everywhere right now. Like they're
Yeah.
serious about this. And not only
Yeah.
that, we have second round picks. Like we have a
Yes.
top
Yeah.
second round pick from Portland,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
like these are the things that we need to. This is how we can get top talent for not paying so much, and that's the
Yeah.
best way to do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like why waste this opportunity we already have, and just for a little bit of flair, right? It's
Yeah.
not worth it in my mind, right? Like our team isn't good enough. We can't, like, if we make the playoffs, we're not going to do well. Like
Play-ins. I don't mind making the play-ins.
yeah, if you want to say that, I don't think the plan is worth it to go
You can
because
still get a top
Chicago.
10 draft pick in the play-ins.
Yeah, but Chicago made the play in last year, and
Yep.
where they? They didn't pick well.
I'm thinking you're thinking
They picked
best draft
12th.
pick possible. I'm thinking morale and development of the team. And I feel like it would do more justice and give the team even more charisma and courage to go out next season knowing that they did better than what they expected. They're gonna go out there and get better the way Grady Dick got better, the way Ochai Abachi got better.
Yeah.
And the coach does a really good job of developing these young players
hmm
because he
hmm
knows what he's doing as a coach, right?
As a
So
developing coach, yeah, I believe that. I completely agree.
yeah,
But I think the goal is to win a championship. It's not to bring up morale in these professional athletes. You know what wins, what cures all things? Winning.
winning,
Yeah,
yes,
and if they get better players, they'll win. And then you'll see the morale change. Do you think they're going to be sad? Oh, yeah, we lost. We won 10 games in a row. No. You win 10 games in a row,
yeah,
you're like, yeah, baby.
yeah.
That's it.
And
And
chemistry is a big part of that.
yeah,
Chemistry,
and what do you think these young players are doing? Like I think people are really not seeing the big picture that these veterans being out have really taken our young players and made them people are shocked. They don't know who's Jameson Battle.
yeah,
Who's Shed, who's
yeah,
Mopo. They don't
yeah,
know because you know what? We're developing these players and I think as the time goes on you're going to see that this is the best remedy is develop players like
yep,
internal growth, new draft better draft picks and then internal growth with Scotty. Like there's certain things that Scotty needs to work on, his handles,
yep,
his interior game. Like he's good. Like today's game, he was a little soft today because
yeah,
they were getting killed. But there's gonna be things like that are gonna happen. Like conversations we're gonna have to have next year is like if we get a Cooper Flag who's coming off the bench,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
You're not taking your first round pick and putting him
yeah.
on the bench, right? Clearly. Yeah. Mhm.
I would bench Grady. That's not a question.
You're a funny guy, bro.
Yeah,
That's the only guy that can shoot on your team.
yeah, but Cooper Flag is here.
Yeah, but Grady can shoot.
Grady's an
Grady is
amazing
different.
shooter.
I like him. But anyways, thank you so much for having this debate with me,
Yeah,
my dear cousin, um, Mike McCoy.
yeah.
Please reach out to him for your acro and your bachata needs. If you want to learn a little bit of cha 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 cha
Hey, yeah, I
cha
love
cha cha
teaching.
cha.
Man, it's so much fun. I get to teach all different people across the city. I work at many different restaurants, studios, and events. So if you are interested, yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I also teach acro yoga across the city at different studios across Toronto, and all over the GTA. So if you're interested in trying acro yoga, hit me up. And I also
Why
do,
why are you trying to why are you saying just the GTA? You're an international
yeah,
trainer, bro.
yeah,
International.
yeah. But most people that are gonna watch this are from Toronto, so I'm gonna, you
Hey,
know.
if you guys, I'm telling you guys, if you're in Toronto and you want to go to Costa Rica and get the best sweat of your life, hit up Mike McCoy when he does the Costa Rica retreats. I'm telling you, it's worth every penny, except for the snakes.
Oh yeah.
No snakes. But anyways, guys, that was the Boardman Gets Paid podcast. Please
Yeah.
subscribe, like, send some comments. Let me know what you guys think about the tank or not the tank. And that was Boardman Gets Paid.
Yeah.
Peace.